Good evening, Fernwood. It is your friendly bunny Neil, and it's time for us to furrow our brows with another episode of Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman. We are watching episode 284 today from May 5th, 1977. Yesterday left me with a churning feeling in my belly, so I guess it's time to stir it back up. Mary Hartman was sitting with her grandpa Raymond, feeling sad that Tom was still locked up. And Grandpa Larkin had to be reminded that Tom was put in jail after having been accused of murder. Mary gets a phone call in her new office setup from Dennis Foley, who has been calling daily with updates on Tom. Mary senses that that's not really why Dennis is calling, so she cuts off the call. And Grandpa Larkin gives Mary a hug because he sees that she needs some comforting. Then Martha Shumway shows up and asks Mary for a favor. She needs to use Mary's home to have some private time with Mac because for some reason she feels like it's not safe to have it in her own apartment. Mary looks back on the affair she once had with Dennis Foley and suggests that it wasn't necessarily a good idea, probably not a good idea for Martha either. And Martha says that maybe she needs to find out for herself what having some kicks would feel like. In any case, Mary gives Martha the use of the home and then thinks generally about smuttiness. Over at the Jeter residence, Wanda is using copious amounts of whiteout and shows Merle exactly how bad a typist Mary Hartman is. Merle says that Mary is there because it makes him more relatable for the upcoming presidential election, and Wanda sees right through that and asks Merle why he didn't help Tom Hartman get out of jail. Then Merle puts on his coat and rushes out to meet the Hartman daughter Heather for a day out. And Wanda calls the jail to see how Tom is doing, and it isn't good. Tom has been sitting in his cell drinking when Tex brings down Nat Dearborn to defend him. Tex lets Nat know that Tom is loco in the coco, and Nat does his best to get Tom to tell him the story. Nat eventually does build some rapport with Tom, who comes very close to telling Nat exactly what's going on with the murders, until Tom finds out that Nat Dearborn is being paid by Vernon Bales and the GGG, at which point Tom throws Nat out of the cell and meets Tex, who offers Tom some rope and tells him that it's a macrame project. And then finally, back at the Hartman kitchen, Mary is cleaning the floor as she gets a visit from Dennis Foley, and she asks him to come in quickly so that people don't know that he's there, since everyone in the neighborhood knows their history and has a story to tell about them. Dennis can tell that Mary's feeling uncomfortable, so he goes to leave, but as he opens the door, it's no one else but Merle Jeter, whose jealousy makes him start throwing his weight around. Mary isn't comfortable with Merle either. In fact, she suggests to Merle that perhaps she shouldn't take the job. And Merle, manipulative jerk that he is, tells Mary that if she doesn't take the job, Tom's going to be very sad to find out that his wife and daughter are starving. So she takes it. And everyone, it's Thursday, and I can't imagine what I will be feeling at the end of this next half hour, so there's only one thing to do.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Come on, Daddy.
Oh, Kathy, this is so stupid.
No, it is not stupid going out and having a good time. What's stupid is sitting home and worrying about nothing.
Nothing. My wife leaves me, I sleep alone, I haven't eaten in weeks. My whole routine is upset, and you say it's nothing?
Hi.
What can I get you?
Could I have a banana daiquiri, please?
Right, and the usual fee.
Yeah.
Oh, no one cola tonight. Bring him a Mai Tai.
The hell is a
special.
Mai Tai?
You'll see. Wait, one banana daiquiri and one Mai Tai.
Why can't I just have my usual 7-Up?
Daddy, because you always have it. It's the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, that's the way I live my life, over and over and over again.
Do you enjoy the way you live?
Enjoyment? What does enjoyment have to do with living one's life?
It's true. Here it comes. Wait till you taste this. It's going to knock your socks off. Thank you.
Player. Ah. That's like the inside of a shoe. Why couldn't I have what I always want?
Because you're royal pain.
Well, you're some kind of a doll, Princess. Trying to cheer your old dad up.
Aw, thanks.
But I don't think I'll ever be happy anymore. Not now since Martha left me.
Would you stop feeling sorry for yourself? Don't worry about it. I mean, Mom will come back. And until then, you have to live. Look, why don't you forget all about that and find something? Get busy with something. Do something with your life.
There's nothing. I work, I eat, I sleep, I get mad at Martha.
You mean there isn't one little thing that you could be the tiniest bit interested in?
Sometimes Martha gets mad at me.
No.
And then sometimes we both get mad at the same thing.
Look, isn't there anything that you've always wanted to do all your life?
Oh, yeah. But it involves a very famous Hollywood actress.
Daddy, that's not what I mean.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you something you won't believe. I once had dreams of being a great inventor.
Really?
Yep.
Well, then what's stopping you?
Couldn't think of anything to invent.
Oh, come on.
No, you just look at it. Now, you got a TV set, right?
Yeah.
Sewing machines you got.
Mm-hmm.
Refrigerators you got.
Mm-hmm.
Safety pins you got. Now, I could have invented a hell of a safety pin, but somebody got there first. And hula hoops. That's right down my alley.
Look, Daddy, I'm sure that there's something left that you can invent, and you'll find it, and you'll become really rich, and then Mom will come crawling back to you.
By God, I'm going to do it.
Good. Here's to it.
You know something? This Mai Tai ain't too bad. And neither are you, sweetheart.
Well, how could I be with a father who's going to be devoted to inventing something? I only wish I had a mother who was devoted to something else than trying to get it on with my boyfriend.
Oh, you had to bring that up?
Here, drink up. I'm sorry, Daddy.
Well, honey, he don't seem to take too well to Leanuel. How about Earl? That's a cute name. Earl, I like that.
No, honey. It puts me in mind of Merle.
Oh, gosh, Charlie, I'm sorry, hon.
How about Fred? I like Fred.
Yeah, Fred. It's cute. It's not bad. Let me see here. Hi, Fred. Fred? Freddie!
Oh, Lord, honey, we've been at this all afternoon, worthy as it is. Why don't we just pick out a good, solid Christian name that appeals to us and have done with it?
No, Charlie, come on, honey. We can't do that. I mean, we're lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a child old enough to help pick his own name out. We ought to take advantage of it.
Honey, I agree with you strongly, but we could be waiting forever. I tell you what, let's forget about naming him right now and let's get on with teaching him just some common manners. I mean, he's got to be in school next week.
That's right. Good idea. Good thinking. All right. Wait. First, Charlie, sit up here on the couch, because when we eat, now we sit down on the chair or on the couch. Okay, now, look here, honey. Now, look here. These are good black-eyed peas. They're real good. Now, we got a little spoon here. We're gonna... No, darling, wait just a minute.
Honey.
No, honey, wait. No! 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 Charlie, I can't believe I did that.
I know, honey, but it's got to be done.
I know it does. I mean, I talked to an expert on this. Wanda, she said we have got to have good discipline.
It isn't easy always to be good parents.
All right, now look here. This is a spoon, and see, we eat with it. See? See? I guess we better just start with the spoon first. Okay, now, you want to hold it? See? Look here, just get yourself a spoon and hold that to eat your black-eyed peas with. See?
Well, it's a good thing we got a whole box full of spoons, because it looks like we're going to need them. Here, let
No,
me have a
no.
try. Let me
Wait.
have a try at it. Here,
Wait,
wait a minute.
honey.
Hang on,
Honey.
Buster. Come on.
Please, just wait.
Here, now just
a minute.
put it. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Now just put it in there. And here, honey, wait a minute.
Okay.
Let me get out
Charlie,
of here.
this is depressing me, honey. We don't seem to be making too much progress. I want our child to grow up normal. Now, wait a minute, darling. Yeah, just
Honey,
scoop
what
him
is
up in
normal,
there.
though?
You know, normal like Heather or something, you know? Well, maybe not like Heather, but, darling, just scoop up them peas.
What I'm saying, honey, is
No,
what I'm saying, honey, is
Spoon,
living
darling.
on the wild on nuts and berries and sleeping in trees is normal for
Sit up
him.
here.
He's probably better equipped to survive than any other kid in Fernwood. You know that?
Well, I know, Charlie, it's true. He do have, rather, he does have exceptional talents. I mean,
Take it
that's for
easy here.
sure.
Now, let's do it
Honey, scoop
by the
up
numbers, huh?
peas.
Now, just one.
Yeah,
Get the spoon in your hand. Now, get it right side up.
Maybe just because he can't use a spoon, Charlie, it don't mean he's not bright, you know.
Is this the house of the Bigfoot family?
Come on in, Mary. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, fine. How are you? I bought some more clothes over for the boy. These are Heather's, but, you know, they're all I have, and I hear that unisex is still very in these days. So, here, why don't you, see if you like it? Kid's great. Kid's great. Really great.
Yeah, he's fine. Thanks a lot for those, Mary. He's just fine, darling and precious, but, you know, Charlie and I's just a mite little tuckered out, because, you know, there is a monumental task of getting him his manners learned and, you know, him being nameless and all like that.
Just as long as he doesn't wind up another John Doe, you know? Bye, Loretta. Bye, Charlie.
Bye.
Bye, Johnny Doe.
Honey acts like he's responding like he likes Johnny Doe, that name she just called. Charlie, look! There, you did it! You named our child!
Hey, Johnny Doe Haggers, I like it. If it sounds a little too dewy-eyed, well, he can always call himself JD when he gets a little older, eh?
That's right.
Johnny Doe Haggers, how about that?
How you doing? What can I get you?
Where am I?
The Capri Lounge?
Oh, right. I thought I might be back in my office.
Hey, I'm sorry, but you're at the Capri Lounge.
Well, in that case, I won't have anything.
Bring him one of your microwave poor boy sandwiches and put it on Texas tab. Well, Dearborn, how goes the defense? Bad, huh? It's tragic.
Well, as a matter of fact, things look pretty good. Tom says he knows who killed Dewey.
Well, the man's deranged. Psychiatrist report proves that.
Oh, well, Hartman is a hothead, but that doesn't mean he's insane. As a matter of fact, it tends to prove just the opposite.
How do you mean?
Well, innocent men are supposed to be angry as hell when they're sitting in jail. And I got a hunch that judge is going to listen to Tom's story with both his ears on.
Excuse me. I have to make a telephone call.
Is he gonna get off? Is Tom gonna get off?
Mrs. Hartman, long time no see.
Hi. Is my husband gonna get off? Is he gonna get
Well,
off?
right at this point, that's kind of a toss of the coin.
Shut up for a minute and listen to me, Texas. When I tell you I want you over here immediately, I want you over here immediately. What? You got what? A new police car? You idiot! Listen, Texas, if Tom gets on that stand tomorrow and tells what he knows, we'll both be indicted for murder. And your career as chief of police is finished. Now you get over here immediately.
Well, by God, Bear Thorn, that's great news. Then you mean Tom could be innocent?
Oh, absolutely, no question about it. I think it'll all come out.
Shh, don't say any more. I don't think you should over-rehearse.
Well, maybe you're right. I'll save it all for the courtroom tomorrow.
Oh, you can tell me. Just tell me a little bit. I won't tell anyone. Just tell me a little. As much as you can, please.
Well, I believe that my discussion will prove that Tom never planned to kill Dewey.
Oh, so that means he won't get the chair. He'll just get life.
I don't think you'll get anything. I believe we can prove that Tom never killed Dewey.
Well, then we don't need F. Lee Bailey. Hey, Al, bring us another round of Mai Tais.
And I'll have a coffee on the rocks. This is so wonderful.
Yes, wonderful. But unfortunately, Tom was at the scene of the crime, and he was carrying a torch, and he had been drinking.
Well, that's true, that's true.
He stunk of liquor.
The lab reports show no liquor in his blood when he was arrested.
Well, what about his threats against Dewey? Now, that's common knowledge.
No, but Tom didn't hate Dewey. Tom did not hate Dewey.
Tom made threats against whoever it was that almost killed his wife. It's never been proven that Dewey caused that explosion. So Tom wasn't making threats against Dewey. I think we got a case.
See, he thinks we have a case. He thinks we have a case.
Yeah, well, maybe. But there were an awful lot of witnesses to Tom's irrational behavior, including Texas. Where the hell is Texas?
Grapes.
You idiot!
Well, see, what I was trying to do is
You get this out of here!
Well, you want me to back it out, or you want a little U-turn right around?
Get it out!
Texas! Listen, could you do me a little favor? Could you turn off the motor for a minute? I can't hear you. Could you do me a little favor? In the future, do you think you could try to be a little nicer to Tom?
Tom? Hi. Hi, how are you? Yeah. Well, Texas gave me the keys. Just one of the many privileges that goes with being the wife of the mayor, I guess. Hey, I brought you a couple of books. Here.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. I don't feel much like reading. I don't feel much like doing anything. I just want to get the hell out of here, you know?
Yeah, I know. I just thought they might be inspiring for you, you know?
What, A Tale of Two Cities and what's it, A Birdman Alcatraz?
Yeah, see, they're both about men in prison who manage to find some satisfaction, even under the circumstances.
Jeez, how the hell could a guy find satisfaction being locked up like some damn animal, you know what? I mean, after a while, you begin to feel like an animal. You know what happened to me this afternoon, huh? I had to force myself to clean up a little bit, to shave a little bit, just to convince myself that I'm a human being.
Well, you look fine, Tom, really.
I don't know. I'm all torn up inside. I'm torn up. It's all I can do to keep myself from banging my head against the wall, you know? Jesus, God, I can't think straight. When Mary comes over here, I feel I'm not decent to her. I'm lousy to her, and I don't know. What am I laying all this on you for?
Oh, Tom, come on. Please, don't apologize, for God's sake. I mean, if it makes you feel better to talk about it,
You know,
please go ahead.
I feel like I'm buried alive here. I mean, that's what I feel. I mean, things are getting bad. They're going from bad to worse, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it. Nothing. And Mary, Jesus, every time she comes over here, I'm lousy to her. I'm really lousy to her. You know what I'm doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm pushing her right into the arms of that lousy creep Dennis Foley, and your husband, too. I know about him. I know they both want her. I know that.
Wait, listen. Mary loves you now. I want you to know that. This thing with Dennis Foley, it's been over for a long time. And, well, as far as Mary and Merle having some kind of thing, it's not going to happen. I promise you that. Now, please, just relax and sit down, okay?
I can't relax. I can't sit down. I got to keep moving, and there's no place to go.
Come on, please. Oh, Tom, come on. Hey, come on now. Don't feel hopeless. Oh, I know it sounds corny to say this, but you're not alone. You're a sweet, wonderful guy, and there are an awful lot of people who care about you. No kidding, a great deal.
Yeah, maybe. Not a damn thing anybody can do about it, is it?
Tom, that's that's not strictly speaking the truth. Now, there's a lot of things that they can do for you. They can give you friendship and support and love. Now, those are pretty important things. Just knowing that you have things like that should make you feel an awful lot better.
Yeah. Nothing's gonna make me feel better, nothing.
Oh, Tom, God, I just wish there was something I could do. Hey, come on. Just try and relax, okay?
I wish I could. I just wish I could just, let go for a while.
Oh, why don't you do that? Just let it go.
I don't know. I'm so confused, I just... Wait a minute. What are we doing?
It's all right.
Is it? Really?
How do you feel?
Guilty.
Don't let the prosecutor hear you say that. Look, Tom, I know you didn't kill Dewey.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what just happened, I mean, I do. I feel like a human being for change, That's good, but guilty.
You mean about Mary?
Sure.
Tom, don't feel guilty. Look, what we had was a natural human contact. And well, it was some contact and some warmth that we both needed. Look, it was honest. Nothing to feel guilty about.
Yeah, you're right. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I wish you were married.
I understand.
Yeah?
Sure. You love her, don't you?
Yeah, now I've heard her.
Tom, what we did just now made us closer friends. And friendship never hurt anybody.
Hmm? Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. Us being, do you think this friend stuff, you've been real good friends to me and Mary.
Yeah?
And is there some reason, you gave her a coat, and now this?
Oh, I see what you're saying. See, Tom, there are a lot of people who are responsible for your being in here. Let's face it, the whole town played a part in it. And, well, I guess I just feel the responsibility more than most people do.
I'm responsible for me being in jail. Do you know that?
Well, how do you mean?
Oh, wait, I didn't kill Dewey. I didn't do that. I don't mean that. I hardly knew the guy, but it was because of what I did do, and what I didn't do is why he's dead.
Tom, I did know Dewey, and he was a very philosophical guy, and I think he would have understood without bitterness. And you didn't kill him.
Yeah. And I think you believe that. I really think you know that.
I believe in you, that's all.
Hey, you know what? Dewey, he shouldn't have died. He shouldn't have died. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow?
What?
I'm going to go in that courtroom. I'm going to tell the whole world who did kill Dewey, who killed him. And they're going to get what's coming to them, those guys.
Yeah. And then everything will be back to normal again. Well, I guess I better be going.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Listen, is there another reason why we did, what we did, other than friendship?
Tom, Do we have to have a reason? Look, I knew how bad things were in here, and what can I tell you? I'm into prison reform. Anyway, if there is a reason, it'll all be clear very soon. Maybe. I hope. I don't know.
Well, there goes all of the stuff inside of my insides again. We start today with the first of two scenes at the Capri Lounge with George and Kathy ordering drinks, and Kathy says, no, you're not having your normal Uncola this week. It's time for you to have a Mai Tai. And she orders a banana daiquiri for herself. And I remember as a kid having just a taste of my mom's daiquiri at some kind of restaurant. I don't know. She was really into daiquiris in the 1970s, and I can't think of any place that even serves daiquiris now, which, did they just go very out of style? I suppose they're work intensive. I don't even know how to make one. I assume they require some kind of blender. This scene is about George and Martha, really. Kathy is spurring George on to settling his feelings somehow, because Martha is looking to be hooking up with Max, and George is a single note character who really only has anger in his life. Kathy encourages George to find something that isn't anger, that is something that moves him forward, that gets him through the day. And in this case, George remembers that at one point he wanted to be an inventor. So that is the new direction, perhaps, for George for a while. And then Kathy reminds George of exactly what the stakes are in their lives. And then we are with the Haggers again and their new boy. They're doing their best to give him some sense of manners. And Charlie makes the point that the kid actually has been surviving on his own for many years, probably better suited to survival in the world than most kids are at his age. Of course, they do want him to be able to handle a spoon and interact with kids at school, which he starts next week. And the kid really doesn't want anything to do with this spoon. Mary comes over with some more clothing donations and suggests, hopefully, that they will find a name for the kid, hoping that the kid won't be John Doe, which is a name usually given to dead people who are discovered without identification. And for once, the kid responds to a verbal cue positively and seems to like John Doe, so the Haggers' new son is J.D. And then we are back at the Capri Lounge with a disoriented Nat Dearborn, who comes in with his books, and he thinks he might be in his own office. He doesn't want to order anything, but Vernon asks for a poor boy sandwich and is disappointed to find out from Nat that he feels confident in Tom's chances in court. Nat doesn't say what Tom has told him, which actually isn't much at all, but he does feel confident that Tom is sincere in his emotions. And that lights a fire under Vernon's butt. Vernon gets to calling Tex, and more people show up. Mary and George and Kathy run over from the table, and they're wondering exactly what is going on with Tom. And we have that moment of chaos that we should expect in this show when Tex drives into the Capri Lounge in his new vehicle. We can talk about police militarization at some point, but in this case, Tex literally drove through some bowling lanes to get to the Capri Lounge as quickly as Vernon ordered him there. And Mary makes the very kind request to Tex to be nicer to Tom. Someone who is being nice to Tom is Wanda, who has had Tom on her mind since he's been in jail. Apparently she was actually thinking of him when Merle thought that she wasn't. She's been given the keys because everyone trusts folks with the keys at this jail. And she has brought over some books to help Tom get some hope. She's on his side. I thought yesterday that she was going to be some kind of defense team, but really she's the morale. She's, in a weird way, the cheerleader for Tom to help him get past the negative feelings that he has been drowning in. Really, what that means in this instance is Wanda and Tom having sex. It starts with a kiss that took me aback, then a post-coital conversation, which is troubling. Tom knows that he has hurt Mary by this. Even Mary doesn't know yet, but he knows that just doing this is hurtful. Wanda does feel that she was doing her best to comfort Tom, to help him get back on his feet. And Mary wasn't able to do this when Tom wanted sex with her earlier in the week. Tom feels guilt, and that is an appropriate feeling. I don't know how Mary would react to learning this. Wanda plays it off like it is a thing that two friends did together. And I think, given the way that Tom and Mary have interacted in their relationship, well, between Wanda and Tom, if there were no Mary in the situation, sure, it would be friends comforting each other, right? A friend comforting a friend. But when Mary's in the situation, when Mary is married to Tom and has the history that Tom and Mary have together, this seems to me a really major betrayal. As Wanda leaves, Tom asks her a question, which is, does this actually mean more than just a friend comforting a friend? And as she leaves, the answer she gives him is fairly unsure. Maybe it means something more. I think that for her it does, but she's not saying just yet. So everyone, that was our Thursday episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions down in the comments. Thank you for furrowing your brow. And we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.